Yo YouTube, this is my video for Friday the 21st of June, which is, as far as I know, the longest day of the year. I haven't double checked that, but I'm pretty sure the 21st of June is always the longest day of the year. So, my stats for today are as follows. I have based my fuel costs on an average of 14.55 pence per mile. Today I will have driven 256 miles, 256. I will have worked for 8.5 hours, and gross I would have earned from 2 CX jobs £145, 145. On fuel I would have spent £37.25, which means my net earnings after fuel today will be £108, 108. So let me tell you how that day panned out. So I had a job booked in this morning going from Kings Lynn to Birmingham. It was a small van job, pick up at 9 o'clock. It was 123 loaded miles. I got that for £105. Originally, when it first came up yesterday, I bid £110, and then it was re-advertised with my job cancelled, with my bid cancelled. So I put in a £5 lower bid, but that was the lowest I was going to go. And I got that reasonably quickly after the lower bid. So that was in the bag. I was an hour away from the pickup and 34 dead miles. So I left the house at 5 to 8, and I arrived at a residential home at just before 9 o'clock. I picked up picked up 4 boxes, and then I made my way towards Birmingham. The traffic was fine until I got to the M6, and as soon as I left it was telling me there were delays on the M6. So I was looking at alternative ways around, like going through Coventry and maybe going other ways. But in the end, it ended up traffic was so busy around Birmingham, and maybe it has been all day everywhere. The traffic where I've been has been really busy. And it just was easy to stay on the M6 in the end, and I got to my destination at 12 o'clock. So it was about 3 hours journey, door to door, as opposed to, I think the sat nav said about two and a half. So I got that delivered, and then I parked up on the road outside the delivery point looking for another job. But I must say that I have hamstrung myself today, because I wanted to get myself home by around about 4 o'clock, between 4 and 5 o'clock, because I'm meeting my daughter for a meal tonight. So I had to get home much earlier than I usually would do. And so I was looking, when I was in Birmingham, I was at 7 o'clock, I was looking for jobs specifically picking up from where I was or close to me, going specifically eastwards. And there were some jobs, but most of the jobs were going anywhere else than where I wanted to go. So I just cancelled. I didn't bother bidding on most of the jobs. In the end, I was there for about just under an hour, and then I thought I better start heading home. The traffic. I was in Aston at this point, and the traffic all around Birmingham was getting quite busy. The M6 was always busy, and I thought if I'm not careful, I'm going to get a job to the west of Birmingham going eastwards. I'm not going to get back in time. So I just thought I better just head east out of Birmingham towards Coventry. My vague plan was head towards Coventry and see if there's anything there heading eastwards, because there was a lot of work in Birmingham, but it wasn't suitable for what I wanted. So as I drove east, a job came up from a B postcode, B76 I think it was, and it was going to Derby. It's a little small van job, minimum price job. So I went lower than I usually would do for a minimum price job because I wanted to get something. And it was actually in the end going from Coles Hill to East Midlands Airport. And I put £40 on that bid and got it reasonably quickly. And it said the only issue I had with it is it said I got this call at 1:10 at 1, and I was half an hour away from Coles Hill. It was only about 7 miles. It wasn't very far. Just the traffic was so busy. I don't know if you can see in my video, there's a plane just between those two trees now. It's going into the airport. Possibly out of frame. Oh yeah, so the pickup in Coles Hill was due for 1:30, and I wouldn't have got there by 1:30. So when I got the call, I said, just to make you aware, I'm half an hour away from the pickup. But I was driving in that direction. I was on the road driving towards Coles Hill. So he said he'd see me on the tracker, and I was close enough. And when we actually put in the proper postcode, it was exactly half an hour from where I was at that particular time. So he was fine with that. So he just asked me to call them back when I got loaded with an ETA. I got the impression that it was an important, urgent job. I think it's an air freight job. So, well, obviously it's going to the airport, isn't it? So I did that. So I got there at 1:43. I was loaded up with a single box. Rang them, told them I'd be there at the airport at 2:30. Just gave me 5 minutes spare in case of traffic. And as I came out of Coles Hill, the traffic was busy. I was stuck immediately getting onto one of the motorways, and then my ETA went from, on Google Maps, went from 4:25 to 4:30 straight away. And I thought, oh no, is this going to be a problem all the way there? But as soon as I got off that junction onto the motorway, it was all plain sailing. And I arrived exactly at 2:30 at the correct place. And luckily, I've been to East Midlands Airport once before, and I had a bad experience the last time. Because when I went there last time, I didn't know where I was going in terms of where the freight forwarder was. So I had to stop to give them a call, and I stopped in a bus. All the roads are double red lines. You can't stop anywhere on the roads. So I stopped where I thought was safer in a bus stop and made the call. Well, I was out within about 2 minutes, but I got a ticket for that. I did actually explain I was delivering. I was on the phone, but they said that wasn't a good enough reason for not getting a ticket. So this time, luckily the shipper gave me the road name, and I knew exactly which road I was going on. And when I got there, I could see the unit really easily. So thankfully the shipper gave me great instructions, and I was able to go straight to the right location on this occasion. And that's basically it. I arrived there at 2:30. I got critter pods, got offloaded. I had a quick look at jobs, but really I looked at the time it takes to get home. I was an hour and a half from home. That would take me get home about 4:15. So that's about what time I'll get home. So I'm just going to dead mine at home now, and then that's the end of my week. I'm looking forward to tonight. We're going to Italian restaurants to have a meal, and it'd be nice to sort of catch up, like sort of face to face. She's at Manchester University, so that's going to be good. The only thing I'm going to add about today, which is significant, other than being the longest day, it's been a really nice weather day, really warm. It's currently 24 degrees in my cab, or at least that's what my cab says. So it's a bit on the hot side for me, I must say. I don't tend to wear shorts. I'm wearing jeans. I always wear jeans. And for the first day this year, today I felt a bit overheated. So I'm going to do a little tip for new drivers. Whether you do multi-drop or same-day deliveries, it still applies. I'm going to from now on, get myself, as I usually do in the summer, a frozen bottle of water, like a big 2-litre bottle of water frozen. and then sit there in my van in the morning, and during the day that'll gradually defrost, and then I'll have ice cold water available to drink even at the end of the day. So that's my top tip for summer driving. That's it. So I hope that you are. Oh yeah, sorry, I did forget one thing tonight. My weekly stats. So it's not been an amazing week, but then it's not been a disaster either. And the key metric is what do I earn on average per day after fuel. I'm hoping to get £200. So here we go, 5 days work. Today is a bit like a half day to be honest, but I'm going to say 5 days work. I've driven for 1,751 miles, 1751, and I've earned gross, without anything taken off, £1,125, 1125. I've worked this week 56.25 hours in total. That's from leaving the house to arriving back at home. I have spent on fuel £247.53. Basically £248. That means that after fuel costs taken into account, I've earned £877 this week, and that is on average per day £175 after fuel. So below my target, but I'll finish off by talking about that in a minute. Final two figures. I've earned, for every mile that I've driven, I've earned 50.11 pence, which isn't very good. That figure, if it's an indicator of how many dead miles that I do. So I'll talk about that as well. So dead miles. I'm really not bothered about dead miles. Before I started doing this, and I looked at videos, I was really kind of taken aback by what a big deal dead miles were for some people. And so I went into this sort of job thinking, oh, I've got to reduce dead miles. It's really important. That's key to making it a successful business. But I've not found that is the case for me. Because of where I live in the country, because of the way that I work, I prioritise the amount of money I earn per week. It's much more important. And I've got an old second-hand van that will last as long as it lasts. I don't really want to trade it in for anything else. So it'll work for me until it dies. So for those reasons, I don't really mind, or I don't really care how many miles I drive. Although it is an indicator about how efficient I'm being. So I do have that metric there. But what I've tended to do this week quite a lot is I've got jobs at the end of the day to London, because that's where the work has been. And I've just dead miled it home. And that's about 110 miles back, depending on which part of London I'm in. And that's done after 5 o'clock because there's no other work available. So that works as a strategy. I get my I can get my target per day or per week if I do that, if I need to, as one sort of tool in my toolkit strategy for doing this job. That is going to London as the last job of the day and then demanding at home. So it is an option for me to do, and it does kind of help on occasions. The best thing I can do is at the end of the day get a long wheelbase job to London at like a good rate and then demand at home. But often it's small van work, so it's more of the miles that I'm doing to get there than the load. So if I do a lot of miles to London, the last job of the day, I can get a reasonable amount of money. I'd rather be able to get a lot of money for the van size than the load size. Anyway, dead miles is a factor, but it's not by any means the most important factor of what I do. So £175 is my this week's average after fuel. Final figure, again, I don't really take any account of this, but some people think it's important. How much have I earned after business expenses taken into account? That's everything to run the business, per hour. And my hourly rate this week is £8.48. If that's important to you, if an hourly rate is important to you, that maybe indicates that this isn't the right job, being a self-employed courier. Maybe to be a PAYE courier, or maybe do a different job altogether. But I don't think that you can really expect. Also, being self-employed, you have to expect a lot of variability, a lot of unknown. and self-management and sort of perseverance. So those are all characteristics that are kind of part of this role. Anyway, to finish off, I was going to talk a bit about my target. Having a target, what is it? Again, when I first started doing this, I sort of heard other people having a target. I like that element of the job, sort of having something to aim for, and so I worked out what it was I needed to live off in terms of making money for myself after I'd paid all my bills and had a bit of pension contributions and stuff, and savings and paying off debts and everything. And when I first started, it was £250. It's now come down to £200 after fuel because things are easier financially for me. Now, if I was to make £200 on average a day, every day I work, I'm not going to worry about anything else money-wise. But it doesn't mean that if I earn like £10 or £5 less on average, I'm going to worry about it either. It's a guide. It's really just a guide. It's a figure that I sort of have in my head as sort of aim for. And if I go above it, I'm happy. If I go below it, I'm not so bothered. Because the odd week of saying £150 or maybe even £100 on average, the odd week is fine. It's not be all and end all to absolutely always get a target. So the target is not something that's completely set in stone, for me at least. It's much more about just having some sort of marker to judge how well a day is going, how well a week is going, how well a month is going. And I might end up, after sort of 6 months, a year of doing this, thinking, oh, that target's not correct. I need more or I need less than that. But I will find out over time. I'm still very new at doing this. This is the job I want to do until I retire. Hopefully lots of years left to do it. So we'll find out over time what does it really cost to run the business. My figures are at the moment, they are a realistic guesstimate that is going to be in the right ballpark. So in terms of my amount of money I need to earn to run the business. So I'm happy with the sort of way that I pitched that, and the money that comes in afterwards. I will soon know if that's enough or not enough as over the next few months. The only sort of unknown in my head at the moment is, does the £200 on average per month cover me during January, February, March when it's really quiet? Can I earn enough for the other months at that rate to cover those months when it's very low? I don't know for a fact that is going to be the case. So I've been through one sort of January, February, March period, but that was a bit unique because I was off work for a lot of it for other reasons. So I'll be interested to see the rest of this year how much I can make and put aside for next year. Although saying that, I'm not as scared as I was about working in January and February. This year was my first year. I basically wasn't able to work at all. But I do think actually if you just get out there, you still can make a bit of money. It's not like it's completely dead and you go make no money. But you just have to adjust your expectations somewhat. Right, I'm going to leave that there. So thank you for listening to my video. I hope that you are being successful, however you choose to find that term for yourself. And I shall see you next week. On this journey home, I need to try and book a job in for Monday. At the moment I've got nothing booked in. Next week will be a partial week. I need to be off for 1 or 2 days. But let's see if I get a job booked in for Monday. So, thank you. Farewell, friends.